IsoStrength Lite is a full-body stretch device by ooZeeki. Made of the highest quality, padded 2-inch webbing and equipped with our patented shock cord technology, Lite assists you in performing a true PNF contract-relax technique.
Catherine is going to help me demonstrate IsoStrength Lite, one of our stretch devices, today. I would like to point out to you that as you hold the device toward you, there is a label that we have placed on the bottom of the device. Is a picture of a foot. Always keep the toes of this picture away from you. When you stretch your lower leg, always enter below this black strap. And when you stretch your upper leg, you enter above the black strap. And that will simplify using the device for you. A couple of other things I like to point out is that when you stretch your lower leg, you want to keep your knees bent, right? And also you want to keep your heel on the ground. By keeping your heel on the ground, you're eliminating the use of the muscles of your upper leg. So you're isolating the targeted muscle, which is the calf. Couple other things is that you can do this exercise or this stretch standing, sitting on a chair, or sitting on a floor. The only thing you have to remember is keep your heel on the ground. So Catherine, we're going to get Catherine in position to stretch the calf muscle. So again, you enter from the bottom portion, right below the toes. And what we are also going to do is that as we do this stretch, we have built into our product a shock cord system, which we call the shock cord technology. That would allow you to perform a technique which we call the IsoStrength stretch technique, also known as a PNF technique or contract and relax technique. And I'll explain to you how that works. So there's 3 steps to this exercise. One is that you stretch the targeted muscle for about 10 to 15 seconds to a point of tension. So Catherine, please go ahead and pull. Keep your heel on the ground, knee bent, perfect. Good. You don't want this to hurt. You just want to stretch it to a point you feel tension. 10 to 15 seconds. Step 2, you hold everything in position. The only thing you do is you push into this bungee with your toes. Perfect. The concept is to contract the muscle for 10 to 15 seconds. And I'll explain to you what that's doing for you. Step 3, you go back into the stretch. So go ahead and back into stretch. Perfect. And right there. And you hold that position for about 10 to 15 seconds. And the best thing is to keep the knee in the same position throughout this exercise. So that's step 3. So you repeat this 3 times. So you go ahead and Catherine, if you would please repeat that 3 times. So you stretch first, then you push in for 10 to 15 seconds, and then you go back into the stretch. So what is a PNF technique or a contract relax technique? What this does is you have a system, a natural system in your body which is called is a reflex, is a stretch reflex that prevents you from stretching to your maximum potential. Every time you contract the muscle for a few seconds and then you go back into the stretch, the muscle is basically fooled for a few seconds. And you're taking advantage of that to have a more effective stretch. So that's what the PNF technique is. And then to recap it really quickly, you always want to stretch to a point of tension. You contract for 10 to 15 seconds, and you go back into the stretch for a more effective stretch. Catherine is going to help me demonstrate the IsoStrength Lite to stretch the hamstring muscle. I'd like to point out a couple of things about our product is that as you stretch your lower extremities, the lower body, always keep the device with this black strap facing you. we have placed a label here, is a picture of a foot. Keep the toes of this picture away from you. To stretch the calves and the lower leg, you enter below this black strap, and to stretch the upper leg for your hamstrings or your IT band and so forth, you enter above, and we'll demonstrate how to get into the device. So, Catherine, go ahead and, so we're going to enter from above, as I mentioned, right? So this black strap is going to cradle behind your ankle and the bottom of your foot. So what's unique about this is that as this is cradling you, it's not touching your toes, so therefore your lower leg is relaxed, so you're isolating the upper leg, which is really important when you do any sort of exercise, whether it's strengthening or stretching. So this helps you to isolate the targeted muscle to stretch. So there's 3 steps to this, and there's a technique that we call IsoStrength stretch technique. It's also known as a PNF technique or contract and relax technique, and our devices allow you to do that without the help of a partner. So step 1 is that you stretch your muscle to a point of tension. This shouldn't hurt. Just pull to a point of tension. Good. You hold that for 10 to 15 seconds. Step 2, you push into this bungee that we have built into this. We call this the shock cord technology for about 10 to 15 seconds. And the idea is to just contract the targeted muscle. You don't have to push super hard, just enough to contract the muscle for 10 to 15 seconds. Step 3, you go back into the stretch, relax the muscle. Perfect. You can take a deep breath and relax as you do this. And now, as you can see, you can go further into the stretch. What this is basically doing is fooling a reflex called the stretch reflex that prevents you from stretching. That's where the pain of stretching comes from. And our device allows you to do this without the help of a partner. So Catherine, if you would please do that 2 more times. So basically you want to do each targeted muscle 3 routines of 3. As she's doing this, I'd like to point out a few more benefits of our devices that is really pretty much unmatched with anything else that's on the market. We use a 2-inch tubular webbing that's a climber's quality, very strong webbing. There is padding in here. Our 2-inch tubular webbing is padded with a to create more comfort for you as you're holding on to it. The bungee that we use can withstand 190 pounds of pressure. So it gives you a really true resistance as you're trying to contract your muscles. That's great. So this is the last one. So step 3. Fantastic. Catherine is going to help demonstrate stretching the IT band and the piriformis muscle using the IsoStrength Lite. As we mentioned before, for any muscles of the upper leg, you want to enter the product from the upper portion of this black webbing. So let's go ahead and get into position. There you go. So to get a good stretch for the IT band and the piriformis muscle, first of all, you want to keep the arm that you're not using and bend it slightly on the opposite side. And then you pull, crossing the opposite leg, there you go, until you feel the stretch in the targeted muscle. And once again, after doing this for 10 to 15 seconds, you can contract these muscles gently for about pushing into this bungee for about 10 to 15 seconds. And you take a deep breath and then relax and you go back into the stretch. I will repeat that for 2 more times. So from the same position that you did the IT band and the piriformis muscle, you can go on and do the adductor muscle, the stretch for the adductor muscle. So you go ahead and position your right arm as you see Catherine is doing, and then you go ahead and get into position until you feel stretch in the inside of the leg. 10-15 seconds. Then you push into the bungee gently for 10 to 15 seconds. Take a deep breath and you go back into the stretch. Excellent. And you repeat that 3 times. Catherine is going to help me demonstrate stretching the shoulder and the lat muscle using the IsoStrength Lite. The way you get into the device is that there is an opening right at the bottom where you put your elbow in, and then you hang on to the padded 2-inch webbing on top to get in position. So step 1, you stretch the muscle to a point of tension and not pain. After 10 to 15 seconds, you push into this bungee that we have placed in the middle of the product. By contracting the muscle, you're fooling the stretch reflex, and it allows you in step 3 to stretch the shoulder and the lat muscle a little bit further. That would be step 3. And Catherine will do this 2 more times. And now we're going to use the same technique as before, but we're going to bring the arm to the chest and stretch the shoulder muscles, the deltoid muscles of the shoulder. Step 1, you stretch to a point of tension. Step 2, you push into the bungee for a few seconds. Then you take a deep breath, relax, and then you go back into the stretch for a more effective stretch. Catherine is going to help us demonstrate how to stretch the quad muscle using the IsoStrength Lite. So if you would get into position, please, Catherine. When you do this, please make sure that you have a bench or a chair to hang on to and make sure the area is clear. And ease into it is one of our more difficult positions. So once you're in that position, hold that for 15 to 20 seconds. And then you relax and you repeat 2 more times.
For more information, visit us on the web at isostrength.com or keyword search ooZeeki.